So this wannabe TikToker is now going to prison for life. Now his name's Mohamed, and Mohamed is 26 during this time, and he works in London as a delivery driver for a kebab restaurant. And bro loves to make TikToks, mostly just videos of him acting like a goofy ass and doing whatever the hell this is and whatever the hell this is. Yeah, it seems like he aspires to be an influencer. But one day in 2021, he's at the kebab restaurant and he meets this woman, Louise. And Louise is 71, she's a businesswoman, and she eats at the restaurant a lot. And soon she becomes friendly with Mohamed and this other guy who works at the restaurant, Al-Jundi. And Al-Jundi is 23 and he's a cook at the kebab place. And bro is kind of a sketchy dude, like he's always trying to con people. And over time, Mohamed and Al-Jundi start to notice Louise got money. Like, she's kind of rich. She owns a few super nice properties in London worth 4.6 million pounds, or about 6.1 million US dollars. And she really wants to sell these properties so that she can give the money to her adult children. And Al-Jundi and Mohamed learn this about her, and they're like, jackpot! And they decide they're gonna not only scam her, but murder her. And so, over the next few months, they spend time becoming friends with her, particularly Al-Jundi. And Al-Jundi convinces Louise that he is this wealthy businessman, a high-ranking property developer, who is also a chef at a kebab restaurant. I don't know actually how that works, but over time, he convinces her that he works in real estate and that he wants to help her out. Specifically, he tells her that he has this super rich girlfriend who would love to buy her 2 London properties off of her for way above market value, and that he wants to do it in such a way that she won't have to pay taxes on it. And Louise is like, sounds dope! And she goes and she tells her family and friends about the deal, and her family and friends are like, no, this all sounds very shady. But unfortunately, I guess Louise isn't hearing them. For some reason, she trusts Al-Jundi. So Al-Jundi tells Louise that she first needs to transfer the properties to him and put them in his name, and he'll take care of the rest. And if she does that, she will eventually get this big lump sum of cash. Then Al-Jundi goes to hire a lawyer to help him prepare this paperwork. And the lawyer looks at all this and he's like, nah, bro, you're obviously scamming this woman. In fact, several different lawyers turn him down because they can see this whole thing is sketchy. But eventually, he does get the paperwork done. And before the deal is finalized, he talks Louise into giving him the keys to one of the properties. And immediately, Al-Jundi lets Mohamed move in there without Louise's knowledge. And this is great news for Mohamed. Like, he moves in and he starts living rent-free. He starts making videos in this place, like showing it off on TikTok like he owns it. But here's where things get dark. These idiots think that if they murder Louise, that they can then permanently own her 2 houses. So, a few weeks later, Al-Jundi sets up a meeting with Louise at one of her London properties to finalize their deal. He says there'll be a lawyer there, and his rich girlfriend who wants to buy the properties will be there, and they'll close this deal and be done. And so Louise shows up, and of course there's no lawyer there, there's no rich girlfriend there, only Mohamed, Al-Jundi, and this other girl they've been hanging out with. Her name's Maria. Maria is their friend and she appears in Mohamed's TikToks sometimes. And so anyway, Louise shows up and they all chat for a bit, and then Al-Jundi and Maria leave, and Al-Jundi takes Maria to a local jewelry store, and I guess he buys her some jewelry or something, and then I guess he drives her home. But what he's really trying to do is create himself an alibi for this murder that's about to happen. Meanwhile, Mohamed is still at the house with Louise, alone. And he waits until she isn't paying attention, and then he grabs a hairdryer, and suddenly, bam! He starts strangling her with the cord, and she tries to fight him, and she struggles, but it's no use. Mohamed is way stronger, and unfortunately, he unalives her. Then, Al-Jundi arrives back at the property where Mohamed is. Then he and Mohamed leave, and they go to the kebab shop where they work, and they pick up some cleaning supplies. And this is actually security footage of them outside the restaurant. Then they go back and clean up the crime scene. They wrap Louise's body in a duvet, and they dump her into one of those wheeled garbage bins. Next, they cover the body in the can with leaves and lawn clippings. Then they get Louise's phone and they start pretending to be her, and they send texts to Louise's family and friends, telling them that I'm totally fine and I've decided to go to China, but I'll be back soon. They're obviously trying to explain her sudden disappearance. Now, at this point, they have to get rid of Louise's car too, her black BMW, because it's evidence. And so Mohamed puts it up for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and he sells it way under market value, so it sells fast, within like 2 days. And then he takes that money and he goes and he buys a bunch of new clothes and shit. And then he makes TikToks of himself showing off those clothes. Did bro really just unalive someone and then buy himself a Calvin Klein fanny pack? Anyway, not to mention, if you look at the background of this TikTok, this one in particular was shot at Louise's property after she was murdered. Now that will obviously come into play later. Meanwhile, Louise's family is freaking out, like she's missing. No one has seen her for a few days, which is very unlike her. And the texts they're getting from her phone are kind of weird. Like she's saying she's going to China? Not only that, these texts don't sound like her at all. Louise is 71 years old. These messages feel like they were written by a teenager. So immediately, her family knows something is up. Now, at some point, someone goes to the police and reports Louise missing. Probably her family. And so, police start investigating. And of course, one of the first things they do is they go to the property she owns to see if she's there. And so they go to this property that Mohamed has low-key been living at this whole time. And so police see that he's living there and they're like, I thought this place was supposed to be vacant. And they end up searching the house and they find some pieces of evidence, including a sweatshirt with blood on it. And they take it and they get it tested for DNA, and guess whose DNA they find on it? Louise. Combine that with TikToks Mohamed posted of himself dancing outside of her house after she was murdered, and now Mohamed is a suspect. And police know that Mohamed and Al-Jundi are friends, so they go and they search Al-Jundi's house. And there they find the wheeled garbage bin where the guys had dumped Louise's body. Al-Jundi had moved it there from the crime scene, thinking that no one would find it. Not only that, the day after the murder, Mohamed was giving Maria a ride, driving her home, and his dumb ass confesses to her by joking about it, like, oh, I can't believe we really unalived that lady. So when police question Maria, of course she's like, yeah, he was joking about murdering that woman when he was driving me home the other night. And so, bam, they arrest Mohamed. Here's his mugshot. And also, bam, they arrest Al-Jundi too. Here's his mugshot. And they both go to trial, and they're both found guilty, and Mohamed gets sentenced to life in prison, and Al-Jundi also gets sentenced to life in prison. Good.